Welcome to the Psychology Open Evening event for our virtual Open Evening in 2020. My name is Mrs. Devereux. I'm proud Head of Psychology here at Newstead Wood, and I look forward to welcoming you to the Psychology Department. The Psychology Department here at Newstead is a thriving department. We have almost 50 students just in Year 12 alone, with a wide variety of students, some who follow psychology alongside more scientific subjects, biology, chemistry and maths, for example. As we also have a good proportion of students who study psychology alongside more philosophical and essay-based subjects, such as classics, economics and RPE. We have a good track record of our students going on to study psychology at university, with usually somewhere around a third of students going to gain places. Many of our students go on to study psychology at Russell Group universities, and we've also had great success with students going to study psychology at Cambridge University. Within the Psychology Department, we're able to offer tailored and personalised advice when it comes to UCAS applications, and we also offer EPQ advice. The Psychology Department here at Newstead, as I say, is a thriving department. We have two experienced teachers, myself and Mrs. Steebles. We both are very passionate about the subject and believe that psychology has something to add to everyone. Psychology is, as you'll see, an incredibly diverse subject. I truly believe that everyone who studies psychology does so because either they want to learn something about themselves or about someone else close to them. Without taking up too much of your time, I'm going to pass on to the psychology subject prefects, Parth, Zara, Ella and Laura, who will take you through some of their experiences on the course and why they think psychology is the right option at Newstead. Please do get in touch if you have any questions following this evening. My email address is on the initial slide.
Online Open Day at Newstead Wood School. On behalf of the Psychology Department, myself, Parth, and 3 other psychology prefects have put together this little slideshow to introduce psychology in general and particularly at Newstead. So let's start off with what you can expect in psychology, just literally at Newstead itself. So we are taught really by the textbook because the textbook is the most important part. It has everything you would possibly need. We are taught in that order, and based on that textbook, we are given a workbook for every single chapter. This we have to complete, and we also get the slideshows, which are also based on the textbook. So these 3 really work together quite nicely. Now, in terms of content, that's really all you need. If you want to do wider reading, you can do that. But what's really important and what we get really well at Newstead is the exam technique. The teachers here know so much about exam technique and they really ingrain it within you from literally day one. And with the exam technique comes a lot of key studies. You need to memorize a lot of these because that's the majority of the subject. Everything in psychology is based on these key studies. And to supplement your learning, we go slightly outside the syllabus as well. And in class, you might be watching some documentaries, some videos about how psychology can be applied in the real world. And talking about the real world, most of the prefects have actually gotten really interested in the subject. So Zara will actually talk to you about what you can do studying this subject further.
So here at Newstead, psychology is actually a really popular subject for further study after A-levels. For example, 4 out of 5 of our psychology prefects are hoping to study at uni, including myself. And I think the main reason behind this is the amount of career paths that come from the subject. For example, forensic psychology and criminology leads to criminal profiling and working in prisons. Clinical psychology leads to working in hospitals, and developmental psychology leads to children's education, and biopsychology leads to neuroscience. Psychology is such an applicable subject. It has so many influences from philosophy to biology, and it can be seen in every situation of our day-to-day lives. I personally love psychology because it gives me a chance to learn more about myself and why I do what I do and feel what I feel, and also why those around me act the way they do. So this insight is why I want to carry on studying it.
Hi, I'm Ella, and I'm going to talk about the content in A-level psychology and the topics that me and the other prefects found especially interesting. So in Year 12, we study social influence, memory, attachment, psychopathology, and research methods. So if we look at one of these topics in a bit more detail, for example, memory, as one of the prefects said that she found this especially interesting, we explore aspects such as the multi-store model of memory, types of long-term memory, the working memory model, explanations for forgetting, factors affecting the accuracy of eyewitness testimony, which is good for anyone interested in criminal psychology, and improving the accuracy of eyewitness testimony. So another topic that a prefect said that they found especially interesting is attachment, which includes aspects such as caregiver-infant interactions in humans, animal studies of attachment, explanations of attachment, Ainsworth's strange situation, Bowlby's theory of maternal deprivation, and the influence of early attachment on childhood and adult relationships. The topic that I personally found most interesting in Year 12 was psychopathology, which is the scientific study of mental or psychological disorders. It considers different explanations for various psychological disorders such as depression, phobias, and obsessive compulsive disorder, and includes biological, psychological, and social explanations. So I've talked a bit about the topics that you're going to be learning about in Year 12, but one of the prefects' favourite topics so far has actually been forensic psychology, which is the topic in Year 13. And it's a branch of psychology that applies psychological theories and principles to different stages of the criminal justice system, including understanding causes of crime, whether they be biological or psychological, and deciding on ways to deal with offenders. So hopefully you found some of the things that I've told you interesting, and I hope it's been informative.
Hi, this is Laura. I'm going to talk to you about the best bits of psychology that we came up with. So I want to start by talking about the Flower Baby project. This is something you do in the attachment topic, and it's so much fun. You make a baby out of a bag of flour, as the name suggests, and you have to carry it around with you for 1 or 2 weeks, and you write about your findings, how you became attached to it, how your behaviour changed, whether you behave differently towards other people, as well as within yourself. And I think it's just really interesting and a lot of fun as well. Also, when you move on to the forensic psychology section of the course, you get to apply everything you find there to criminals you might have seen on the TV. So one thing we did recently was to apply our understanding of the criminal profile to movie villains, like the Joker. So we were learning about psychoticism and aggressive behaviour, and whether any of that applied to well-known villains in the movie industry. So that's a lot of fun because it's something that a lot of us enjoy, and it's a good way to show you just how embedded psychology is into literally everything we do. And it's a nice fun activity as well. I just want to finish by saying that psychology is a really strong 4th A-level option. So a lot of people tend to think that because psychology is not that well known at the minute, that it's not as appreciated by universities as such, but it's actually one of the hardest courses to get into at uni, simply because there's such a high demand for it at the moment. But it's so interesting and it's really good, and although it's content heavy, once you get the hang of it, it becomes a lot easier and it's just such good fun. So thank you for listening to our mini presentation. I really hope that you consider psychology for one of your A-level options.
Just to add on to that point, she already mentioned that it's a content-heavy subject. This can be a good thing because if you're like me and you like a lot of concept-heavy subjects like maths and all of that, this can really offer a nice break. And yes, you're going to have to work hard, but it's, dare I say, quite a more enjoyable subject, I guess, in that way that it's just different. So let's say we have now convinced you to actually take the subject at A-level. I'll just give you a few top tips to actually succeed in this A-level, wherever you go, be this at Newstead or in any other school. The most important thing that you're going to see everybody tell you is stay on top of your work. This is the most important aspect because you're going to have to, it's an A-level. And psychology, as I said before, is very content heavy, and that means there's a lot of essays. So it's best if you have an essay plan for every single topic. That is going to help you a lot. And again, your textbook, very important. Just keep that with you. That's just, if you want to, you can just stare at it if you want. it will work. And as I said, in those textbook, you have your key studies. Remember those properly because they're so important. You don't want to mess up on that. And your research methods terminology that I've written here. This is very, very important. It comes up in every single chapter. It's, as the name suggests, is how research is conducted. This is really handy in your evaluation points and just in general critiquing any experiment. And if you are one of those people who want to do this subject at university, you will have to do your wider research because it's all well and good getting an A star in the subject, but if you have no idea how it's applied in the real world, universities are not, they won't like that, I'm pretty sure. So that's all we have for you today. I hope you consider psychology as an A level because, as we said earlier, even if this isn't your main subject, it can count as a really good fourth A level. And I would urge everybody to think very seriously about taking the subject. Thank you.
Thank you to our fantastic psychology prefects for their input there. Just to clarify a couple of further points with regards to the course at Newstead and what to expect. Psychology is assessed by 3 two-hour examinations that are sat at the end of Year 13. These questions on the exams take a variety of different forms, from multiple choice questions to short answer questions and essay questions, with a maximum of 16 marks, which is approximately a side and a half of A4. At the end of each topic that we cover on the course, students sit an end of unit assessment in timed exam conditions, which we use to inform current performance data and identify where additional support may be needed. Regular homework is set to practice exam skills, and further information or examples of exam style questions can be found on the AQA Psychology website. We're incredibly proud of all our current and past students here at Newstead. In 2020, 63% of students gained an A or an A star grade and 96% gained A to B grades. Our students work incredibly hard, but all of their work is worth it with the fantastic outcomes they achieve.